Imagine your heart just stopped, right now. No warning, no pain, just silence. But here's the strange part. You might still be aware that it happened, for seconds, maybe even minutes. Science is beginning to show that death isn't a switch that flips off. It's a process, a gradual shutdown. And what happens during that shutdown is far stranger than anything most of us were ever told. Most of us imagine death as an instant. One moment you're here, the next moment, you're gone. But biologically, that's not what happens, not even close. When your heart stops beating, the rest of your body doesn't instantly die with it. Your organs don't all shut down at once. Your brain doesn't simply turn off. Instead, everything begins a slow cascade. First, blood stops circulating. Without blood, oxygen stops reaching your brain. And oxygen is what every neuron depends on to survive. Within about 20 seconds, the brain begins losing the ability to maintain consciousness. That's when most people pass out. But here's the critical detail. Even after you lose consciousness, your brain cells are still alive, still firing, still trying to adapt to the sudden loss of oxygen. And during those final moments, something remarkable can happen. In the first 1 to 2 minutes after cardiac arrest, the brain can enter a strange state of activity. Researchers have actually measured it. In a 2023 study conducted at the University of Michigan, scientists monitored brain activity during cardiac arrest. What they found surprised them. Instead of the brain shutting down immediately, there was a surge, a burst of gamma wave activity. Gamma waves are the same brain waves associated with conscious awareness, memory, recall, intense focus, even dreaming. Think about that for a moment. The heart has stopped. Blood flow is gone, and yet the brain briefly produces the same signals linked to conscious experience. It's almost as if the brain makes one final attempt to organize itself. A last surge of activity. A final attempt to make sense of what's happening. And that surge might explain something people have reported for centuries. Millions of people around the world describe similar experiences during near-death events. They talk about seeing a bright tunnel of light, floating above their own bodies, watching doctors working on them from outside their body, hearing conversations that happened in the room, or encountering loved ones who had already passed away. For a long time, these reports were dismissed as hallucinations, or simply stories created by the brain after resuscitation. But new neurological data suggests something else might be happening. Those intense experiences could be the brain reacting to the sudden collapse of normal oxygen supply. The brain entering a hyperactive state, a state where memories, emotions, and sensory signals are firing all at once. A chaotic storm of consciousness, and in that storm, people might experience something that feels profoundly real. But here's where things become even stranger. Because while your brain is struggling to stay active, your body has already started something else. A physical timeline, a chain reaction that begins the moment your heart stops. Once oxygen is completely gone, cells begin to die, but they don't die together. Different cells survive for different lengths of time. Your brain cells are the most fragile. Without oxygen, they begin suffering irreversible damage within about 4 to 6 minutes. But other parts of your body last much longer. Your skin cells can survive for hours. Certain immune cells can remain alive for up to 96 hours. Your body doesn't simply die. It shuts down system by system, organ by organ, and the physical changes start surprisingly quickly. Within minutes, the skin may begin to take on a slightly bluish color. This is called cyanosis. Without circulating oxygen, the blood in your veins darkens. Then gravity takes over. Blood begins pooling in the lowest parts of the body. If someone is lying on their back, it collects along the back and shoulders. This phenomenon is known as livor mortis, and it can begin within the first hour after death. Another well-known change is rigor mortis, the stiffening of the body. But the reason this happens is surprisingly mechanical. Muscles need energy to relax. Inside each muscle cell are tiny fibers that slide past each other to create movement. To release that contraction, your cells need a molecule called ATP. ATP is basically the energy currency of the body. Once the heart stops, ATP production stops, and without ATP, muscles can contract, but they can't relax again. So the muscle fibers lock together. The body becomes rigid. Rigor mortis usually begins 2 to 6 hours after death. It peaks around 12 hours, then slowly fades as the tissues begin breaking down.